that are correlative with reality, making that some moral statements are true in reality, which would mean that like morality is a real thing in reality.
So you think like moral statements can only be true?
Could
It
only
can
be true? No, I think
differ
they're
from.
truth apt. I think they're
So,
truth apt.
yeah, hold on. Do you think
I
they
think
can
they
differ?
can be true.
Do you think that they can differ from different systems?
Systems? What do you mean?
Yes, like countries, nations, unions, people, culture.
Like um the truth value of the moral statement wouldn't
Yes,
differ.
yes.
No, it wouldn't differ.
Why would it not differ?
Because you'd end up getting a contradiction.
A contradiction. It isn't a contradiction if it doesn't apply to what they believe. What they believe.
If it isn't
Because we're
implied in
talking
what they
the way that
believe, what do you mean?
it doesn't apply like to the way that they
Their
live.
perception, their notion is not reality, right?
Who?
Someone's notion and what they perceive is not reality.
I mean, if you're saying that, then what you're saying right now is false. Along with the statement that moral statements are true theft. If
No.
you're saying,
What? How?
if that's what you're saying, yes.
No, no. I'm saying that if someone thinks that murder is good or something and they perceive it as right, that wouldn't necessarily like make that moral statement right.
Okay,
But that
and
moral statement is truth apt, right? It can be true or it can be false.
okay, press,
Like,
press,
like it's not necessarily true.
press. So if I think murder is bad, am I not perceiving it in a subjective sense? Like to
If you
determine,
think that murder is bad, you're
yeah,
perceiving it in a subject.
yeah, are they
Sure,
both not
sure,
okay?
you're perceiving it in a subjective
So you
sense.
think morality is subjective, pretty much.
No,
You think so? You don't think that
no,
morality,
I'm saying this perception can be truth apt.
like, so
This perception that you're making, this intuitive thought that you're making, can be correlated with reality. It could be true.
it could be true. So that just means that
Yeah.
subjectivism is true.
No,
Why?
because true is in accordance with reality, right? A
Yeah,
subjectivist would just say that like no moral statements are true.
I mean, are they not inherently right?
Inherently right.
Yes.
What does that even mean?
What I'm
Right.
saying is, are they right within their own like framework of reality, since they are like in accordance with.
Within their own framework, they
Yes.
can perceive themselves. Well,
Yeah.
actually,
Okay. So
they
how do you,
can perceive
how
that
do
their
you, how do
statement is correlated with reality, but again, reality is completely different from perception. It's like verbatim by definition opposed to perception.
I mean, I don't think that's like enough nuance, like discussing whether or not
Nuance, what do
that,
you
that
mean?
like it's not explained enough.
How is it not explained enough?
I just think
If
there's far.
something is
I'm not saying it's
can you
wrong.
not share your screen? Thank you. Alright,
I'm not bad. Yeah.
but what I'm saying is that by definition, reality is the real way things are, opposed to someone's notion of how things are, right? Opposed to someone's perception that, uh, like, this is happening or something like that, right? Like, again, like I said before, if a schizophrenic person says that there's someone right next to them, that
Yeah.
statement could be correlated with reality, but, like, I myself would say that that statement is not correlated with reality.
But that's your own subjective idea of it, though. You're both
Yeah,
relying.
what does that change? Do you think that person can be there and not there?
I think it depends on what they think.
But what does that have to
Like
do with reality?
I'm
Can
saying that there's still
can
like
can this
you being
person
in
can this, like, imaginary person be there and not be there?
what? I'm not saying like it
Can
can
this
be.
imaginary person be real and not be real?
When did I ever say that two things will just happen like that at the same time? I never said like it can
No,
be
no, no,
true and
because 'cause you're
false.
saying that that things can be true within someone's perception, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And that doesn't refute my argument at all. Whatever is true
You're
within your
saying
being true within your perception doesn't change the fact that could be truth apt. That can be true
it could be.
within reality, right? If it's true within your perception, it could also be true within reality, but it could also not be true within reality. It could also not
Okay.
be it could also yeah. It could also just not be correlative with reality.
So how do you determine reality then? If
How do you
hold up.
determine reality? 'Cause I'm deafened. Oh my god.
Bruh.
Here, just for the recording, he's saying that two people can both be true. We established that true is correlated with reality in our past debate. So two different stances cannot both be true and correlated with reality because then A would be A
Hello?
and A would also not be A. Yeah,
Hello?
it's good, Puck.
Mm. Anyways, what were you saying?
Oh yeah, I'm saying that perception is not reality, right? Just because someone perceives something to be true within reality, that within their
Mhm.
own subjective reality, that doesn't mean that is like inherently also true within actual reality. My argument is
How you,
just that their perception is truth apt. It can be true within reality.
okay. So how do you determine reality then?
I just
Like,
say reality is how things really are, as opposed to like how I see reality.
hold up.
I knew this was gonna happen. Y'all gonna debate over the definition of reality. I hate you both.
Hello?
Yeah.
Anyways, what were you saying?
I'd say the reality is just how things really are in reality, like in the real world, opposed to how I see it.
So like, how do you determine these objective facts or whatever you think are objective?
Mm, I don't think we can determine them.
So you don't think like they're possible to determine. You don't think that
No,
they
not necessarily possible to determine. I don't
yes.
even see how this like. All I'm saying is that
I'm just asking
is
a
that
question.
intuit
You know what I'm saying?
is so. Let's say you have like a moral statement, right? What
Yeah.
connects this moral sentence and what gives it the ability to be truth apt, right? Because there has to be because like with an inference in an argument, there has to be something to connect that argument to give it like this property of being truth apt, being correlated with reality. I take that to just be like personally for me, my intuition, right? My intuition can like guide me to make a moral argument, whether or not this moral argument is in fact correlated with reality or not correlated with reality, is like different, but just my intuition is what connects this moral sentence to
Okay.
and give it the property of being truth apt, right? Being possibly true. And unless like you can demonstrate like a logical contradiction to moral arguments being truth apt, then I think my argument would still stand because I already gave a reason why.
I mean, I don't think you've been able to explain how they fit the properties of what you're trying to say.
What do you mean? I mean, an
What I
argument's
mean,
defined as truth apt, right?
an argument, huh?
Like, arguments are just. Hold up, give me a sec. Like a series
Argument,
of statements, like premises that determine the degree of truth of another statement, right? So I think like
like
my
they
my my my
that
like current like claim that I'm making right now is in fact truth apt
you're saying
because I'm
that
making a
you're
claim about another statement and I'm connecting this through an
so
argument.
you're saying that your determined argument is true.
My determined argument is true. What are you talking
Yes.
about?
I'm just saying, do you think that your argument is true? Like, do you think it?
I think it's true. Whether or not my argument is true or not, I don't know, but it is in fact it is in fact truth apt, right?
So you think that?
'Cause
So
that's how
you
arguments are defined.
okay? Okay. Okay. Okay.
What's the debate?
Moral realism.
Could you say it a little slower?
Moral realism.
That
Whether or
was
not
that was
reality is
nice.
objective.
Spike topic.
I know, right? This topic fucking sucks. Puck.
Hello?
Yeah.
What?
Are you gonna like refute what I said? Give like a logical
I don't.
contradiction to it?
I don't. What? What do you say?
That like arguments are just like defined as truth that. So if you don't think that your argument can be correlated with reality,
How is an argument true? I don't think that anything can actually
because an argument is like connecting like with an inference the truth of a statement. And right
yeah, but
now, I'm
inherently
using this argument
can
to connect like the
you
truth
can
of my statement that I'm making and to connect it to like my argument, of course, which grants it just being
so
truth
like a
that.
proposition can be true. You think like something that can link it to be true.
Propositions are literally like a proposition is propositional, and propositions just refer to arguments that can hold objective truth, to
Mm,
something that can hold objective truth.
mm,
Propositions are like objective or can hold objective truth, right?
okay.
Right? A proposition just references a statement that can hold objective truth value.
Okay.
Do you have anything to say?
Huh? What?
Are you gonna refute anything I said?
I don't even know what you just said.
You're saying that I'm using a proposition, right? Like this is a proposition that I'm making, an ethical proposition, a moral proposition, right?
So we're talking about ethics, right? So you do
Do
not
do you think that I'm making a moral proposition right now?
do I think that you're making a moral proposition?
Yeah,
Taking a you're taking a stance that's trying to defend it.
that's trying to defend it.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Do you think your argument is truth that?
So I think that is true theft. What is true theft?
Yes.
I forgot. What is true theft again?
Do you think your argument can be true?
I think my argument can be
It
true.
can be correlated with reality. Let's say it's easier
Yeah.
to use as
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Okay, you think it can be correlated with reality, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you concede.
No.
You understand that my position was that ethical statements, moral statements can be truth that can be correlated with reality. And right now, within this debate, you were making a ethical statement. And since you think that this ethical statement can be correlated with reality, like your moral statement can be
Yeah.
correlated with reality, then you're conceding to my premise.
What is correlated with reality? Isn't that like just reality itself?
That just means that's just like true, right?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, my proposition, my argument is that
Okay, so your argument can be true. So you're
I'm
conceding
saying
to
no.
my
No. Hold up. I'm just saying that the idea of
Kuzan. I'm
subjectivity.
not even writing. He's just
No, no,
he thinks that his ethical
Shut
statement
up, you rat.
can be
no,
true.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the idea of subjectivism can like be reality itself. So I'm saying that everything that you determine and infer, whatever, that's just you completely being subjective. It's fucking subjective.
Okay, but do you think that your ethical statement can be true? That the ethical statement you made within this debate can be true. It's truth that.
Everything that I think. Okay, wait, say it again.
Do you think that the moral argument that you made is truth that?
I think that is true within my own like argument.
Do you
Yeah.
think it can be true within reality?
Yes.
Okay, so you're conceding to my premise.
No, I've already explained myself that what I'm trying to propose is that morality itself is subjective, and I'm explaining as to why.
Yeah, and you're saying that morality being
I'm
subjective
explaining
is
why.
truth apt in itself, meaning that can be true within reality. Talk, you're just
Yes.
conceding.
No, I'm not, bro. I'm not doing that. I'm explaining that subjectivism itself is correlated with reality.
Subjectivism itself is correlated with reality.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What I'm saying is that everything that you use in order to figure out what the reality is, that's completely subjective.
To figure out what the reality is. So like someone's perception of reality is subjective. Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yes.
But what does that change? What what does that change with like
What
perception being opposed to like what actual reality is? Someone's perception of reality
that
does not
defines reality
entail actual reality.
because that's what defines reality.
No, reality is defined as the state of things and how they really are, as opposed to someone's notion of it.
You're saying that how they exist.
How something actually is in reality.
Okay, so in my reality, let's say shoes are like fucking food or something. So yeah, that would
Puck,
just
your reality is not actual reality.
it is so.
No, that's just how you
We're
perceive reality. Reality is completely different to how someone perceives reality.
so you agree that reality is subjective?
No, I
That's
just
what
said it's different to how
you
someone perceives it. What are
saying
you talking
reality.
about?
You just agreed that reality is subjective. You just agreed that
No,
reality.
when, how?
You just said it. That's what you just said. You just agree that reality is different from other people. That's literally
Puck,
what
no,
you
I
agreed.
said how someone perceives reality is not how reality is, Puck. What do you not get about that?
Did you not just say it differs from other people?
How people perceive reality?
Yes.
Yeah, no shit that would differ, but how people perceive reality is not how reality is. That's not what
How
reality
is
is.
reality
Reality is defined as opposed to how someone perceives it.
as opposed to how people like think of it?
Yes, as opposed to someone's
My entire
notion.
like point is like how are you getting this reality? How are you getting this?
What do you mean? How am I
Yes,
getting this
how you
reality?
determine reality?
What?
That's what I'm
I'm
asking you.
saying that how I perceive reality is not how it actually is.
Okay. I'm just asking how are you getting this?
How am I getting what?
Like reality. How are you getting the concept of
Reality itself?
yes.
This is
How
just
are
how we
you-
define it. Are you gonna try and say that my definition of reality is wrong or something like
No,
that?
I'm not saying that. I never said that.
Because my definition of reality, I I mean, it could be truth app and correlated with reality.
I said that. I'm saying
Okay,
like how are you determining that reality is not this and that? How are you determining that reality is just one thing and not many things? Because reality itself is
that
everything.
literally makes no sense.
Nigga, did I stutter? My mic cut
You
out?
said how am I differentiating how reality is this and that?
I'm saying how is reality one thing? Like just one specific thing. That's what I'm trying to ask. How is it that?
The reality is how the real world is. It's how like
So how is
it's
it
how
one
real
specific
stuff
how is it
happen.
one specific thing? Why is it not multiple different things?
What do you mean multiple different? Do you think the reality can be different?
Yes, I think it can be different from other people's views.
Yeah, their perception of it, Puck. That's
That's
different. Their
reality.
perception of reality is not what reality is.
Why are you
How many
loud?
times did I explain this to you?
I don't have a mic, but okay.
Preston, chill out. Preston, chill out.
Dude,
Nigga,
we're just going circular. Like we're
it's not
going around in
Yeah,
in
yeah, I
circles
know,
because it
but
just
don't
doesn't.
you're failing.
don't lie about it, but no, chill on.
Okay.
Just move on. Just move on. My nigga, you are going in circles. He's right.
I'm going in circles.
Okay.
I'm
Do
asking
you
the
have any
question.
contention to
He's
my
failing to
argument?
understand what I'm asking him.
How am I failing to understand what you're saying
Asking,
that reality can change
yes. You
between
think that
person
reality,
to between
that
some
reality?
people, right? You're saying that people can perceive reality differently.
Yeah, I'm asking you think that reality is contingent?
Reality isn't how people perceive reality, Puck.
So you think that
It's
reality is one?
literally
That's literally what I'm asking. You think that reality is one specific thing? You think that's
one
one?
specific thing. I don't
Yes.
think reality can change.
You think that reality is like changes and shit, right?
I don't think it can change.
So I'm asking. You think it changes like it can't be changed?
What?
Oh my god, bro. Oh
Do
my
you hear
god,
what he's
Yeah,
saying to you, Puck? He
bro.
just said he don't think it can be changed. You keep
Oh,
yeah.
asking him, do you
yeah.
think it like?
Oh, I ain't hear that. I ain't hear that. My bad. But anyways, since you don't think like reality can be changed, why is that?
Because it's objective.
What inherently makes reality objective?
Like because it's how things really are, and it's opposed to how
And
people perceive it.
I'm asking
If reality was just how
it
people
all ties into
perceive
one
it,
thing.
then that would make it subjective. But since it isn't, that would make it just objective.
Well, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that last line?
If reality is different to how people perceive it, then
Yeah,
that would just make it objective, right? Because if reality was just how people perceive it, then that would of course that would just be subjective.
I mean, is that not how reality works though? Like, there's no such thing as like a different reality. You can never actually find out what that is whatsoever. Hence why I'm only referring to like
A
subjectivism.
different reality?
Yes, you
What do
can't
you mean a
actually
different reality?
you can't actually pick out whether or not there's a different reality from what you're viewing right now.
Why? Puck, what I'm viewing right now is just my perception of reality, right?
Yeah. So you think that what you're perceiving right now is objective?
Mm,
So you
no,
think
but
like
but
shoes?
but what I'm
Like shoes
perceiving
are
right now is not reality, Puck.
you think like do you think like the way that you wear you
Puck,
think
what I'm
that
perceiving right now is not reality.
then what is it?
It's my perception of it.
You know the way that you know oh my god. You know that the way that you find out things you perceive it, right? You know that the
The way I like
you know the way that you
find out things,
like you know the way that you define it, like understand things and perceiving it, right?
understand things,
So
and perceiving it.
when you perceive something, you're basically just finding out what it is. So yes, that is
I
inherently
perceive something, I'm just finding out what it is.
yes. So that
What
is
does that
inherent.
have to do with anything?
I'm saying that is everything that you perceive is inherently reality.
What if I told you that the definition of reality is subjective and what I perceive is subjective?
It said it's what?
Reality is objective and what I perceive is subjective.
Are you trying to say objective is greater than subjective?
Objective is greater than subjective. What the
Bro,
fuck
this
is
look like it's just going back to your last
Yeah,
argument. Please just conclude this,
Puck,
please.
There's
can we
nowhere to
conclude?
go. There's
No,
nowhere to
it's just
go.
Can we
because you're not
conclude?
understanding his argument. As simple
No,
as
I.
that. Just conclude. Just conclude, bro. Don't argue with me right now. Just conclude.
Puck isn't.
I.
All right, Puck, you can go first.
I'm not concluding. There's nothing for me to
Okay.
conclude. I don't have
Okay.
anything to conclude.
So although some people wanna apparently call it rat, Puck like conceded to the point that
Huh?
like he conceded to the point that his moral statement is truth apt and can be true within reality, although he had a contradictory definition of reality to what reality is, right? He just thought that whatever I perceive as reality. So if two people perceive different things about reality and these are both quote unquote reality, then this would just end up in a contradiction, right? You can't be P and not P. If someone perceives like within apparently what objective reality is, then and they perceive that like some dead person's talking to them, and another person perceives in what their apparently objective reality is that like a dead person is not talking to them, then and these are both true because they're both like truth apt or they can both be truth apt, then again this would just entail a contradiction.
Are you sure you don't want to conclude, Puck, bro?
I don't have anything to conclude. I really don't.
Okay.
Anyways.
Is it over?
Yeah.
All right.